Hello, and welcome to SecOps Day 360. My name is Markov, and I'm one of the co-founders and CEO of Runecast, and we're really thrilled to be hosting this event today. So the theme of this event is bridging the gap between IT operations and security teams. And I'll tell you a little bit more about it before we move to the actual sessions. So the first question really is, why SecOps and why 360? Well, when you hear SecOps, you are typically thinking about security operations, which means a lot of things that are related to security, like patching, vulnerability management, threat detection, response, even compliance auditing, and so on. What we actually mean by SecOps, it has a bit of a double meaning. Of course, we'll be talking a lot about security here, but really the theme of this SecOps Day is that we recognize the importance of bridging the gap between IT operations teams and security teams. So the ops in SecOps, we're here talking about IT operations management. And why 360? Because IT has become increasingly complex, especially in the last few years. And to really protect it, make it more resilient, more secure, and more compliant, you really need to join forces between the security and operations teams. So this is the main theme of today, and we have a lot of sessions. Of course, a lot of them focus on security, but some of them are specifically addressing the needs and the benefits of combining security and operations and looking at it holistically. So it's important to join forces to tackle the increasing complexity in IT. Why is it increasing in complexity? Well, there are multiple reasons, but one reason that is becoming quite evident, especially in the last few years, is that organizations are adopting more and more various different types of infrastructure and different technologies, starting from on-prem and adopting hyperscalers and public clouds and even multi-cloud in the last few years. And also in the last couple of years, cloud-native applications and containers and Kubernetes. So as most of organizations have pretty much flavors of all of these types of infrastructures and different types of applications, cloud-native communicating with traditional virtual machines and traditional applications, this, of course, has become increasingly difficult to operate and to secure. And of course, as you adopt a new type of technology, naturally, you're looking for different tools that help you operate and secure the apps on this new technology. And over time, inevitably, most organizations ended up with multiple siloed tool sets spanning development and runtime, both for their security, compliance, and operations, which inevitably leads to lack of visibility and, of course, increased total cost of ownership by having to pay for and maintain all of these tool sets, some of them offering duplicating functionalities. Another reason why things are becoming more complex is not only the infrastructure is more complex, but there's continuously increasing regulatory compliance requirements. There are new regulatory standards. They're also being enforced more strictly. Just as an example, there's a new one coming. I'm sure some of you know about it already. It's called DORA, and it stands for Digital Operational Resilience Act. And it's a new EU regulatory compliance standards, or actually a new regulation, which is going to be enforced for financial institutions that are on the EU territory or are having some dealings with financial institutions in EU, which means really all kinds of financial services like banks, insurance, some of them really that are headquartered in EU or some of them global. And the Digital Operational Resilience Act is mainly focusing on resilience. It's a regulation which is focusing on, of course, on security, but that means also making sure that you have an action plan in case of big outages, you're not locked down to specific technology, and you ensure the overall resilience of your services that are spanning probably across multiple clouds and on-premises. So even the things that we already see in this regulation, which will be mandatory and enforced in January 2025, which is not so far away, we can already see the need of really aligning well the security and IT operations teams to achieve compliance there, and in general, even setting aside this regulation, achieving resilience of their IT infrastructure. Overall, nobody is born with skills in everything, especially we have so many flavors of technologies and approaches. So it's obvious that there is a lack of the right skills to manage both the operation and security in such a complex hybrid and multi-cloud environment. And over 80% of companies are already deploying hybrid and multi-cloud. So what are the benefits, just to name a few, of really aligning or even in some cases merging the security and IT operations management teams? Well, first of all, really that gives you the ability of proactive security measures. These teams should not be operating in isolation. A lot of the things that the IT operations management teams do, they have to be done with a security mindset. And the way that they're deploying, configuring things, the way that perhaps they're doing the vulnerability management really helps with more proactive approach to security and really avoiding the major problems from happening, like breaches and ransomware and so on, that later on have to be solved. Combining these two teams also helps with more streamlined and continuous compliance. This kind of task for achieving compliance is very often split in terms of responsibility and accountability between the security and compliance teams and IT operations teams. But essentially, it is really important both of those teams to be operating using the same mindset and really making sure that anything which is developed, deployed, and also maintained is configured according to compliance standards continuously. By combining those teams, you can help achieve enhanced threat detection and response as well. So whenever there are threats that are being detected, typically those two teams have to work together. So if they're already aligned and maybe looking at the same source of truth, they can be much faster in the response and much more effective. And of course, avoid the problem from escalating and avoiding additional downtime. Cost optimization by really combining multiple tools into one or a smaller number of tools, that will essentially really help reduce the budget needed by IT operations and security teams, and really help with not only reducing the costs, subscription costs for many of these tools, but also reducing the maintenance costs for having to maintain so many. And last but not least, cultural alignment. It's really important if these professionals are speaking the same language. Security should be in everyone's heads, everybody, no matter the role in their company. And I think in the last couple of years, this also started to mean even C-levels. So it is the closer these teams are, really a higher chance that they will increase the resilience, the security, and the compliance of the IT infrastructure. So this is what this day is all about. We have some awesome sessions and some awesome speakers, and we would love to also continue the conversation. We've created a LinkedIn group for SecOps 360 Day. So here's the QR code. So you're really welcome to join. This is not going to be the last event under this tagline, because this notion of really bringing closer together and even merging the security and operations teams naturally will continue also in future. So again, it is my pleasure to welcome you to SecOps Day 360, where we will be bridging the gap between IT operations and security teams. So enjoy the day and all the sessions that are upcoming. Thank you.